Today, we're diving into a story that starts with a simple missing persons report for a wealthy businessman, but ends somewhere so much darker. This is the story of the Playboy in the trunk. I mean, this whole thing kicks off with a question that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Just think about it. A man who has it all. The money, the success, a life that's always in motion. And then one day, poof, he's just gone. No calls, no texts, nothing. So at the center of all this is a man named Alan Leelu. Now, Alan, at 61, was this larger-than-life producer in the European circus world, which, believe it or not, is a super profitable business. His life was just this constant whirlwind of international flights, high-stakes negotiations, and big money contracts. Okay, so let's rewind to his last known weekend, back in February of 2010. On Friday, he shows up at the home of Alexandra Nicola. She's his young protégé, someone he apparently treated just like a daughter. By Saturday, though, things get tense. They have this huge, heated fight about her past. And then on Sunday, he supposedly leaves for a really important business meeting. And this wasn't just some coffee chat. Alan's company was pulling in around $4 million a year. And the deal he was about to sign on Monday, it was a massive piece of that pie. So yeah, the stakes for him personally couldn't have been higher. So Monday morning rolls around, the day of the big meeting, and Alan's a ghost. For a guy who was practically glued to his phones, this is way beyond strange. It's a massive red flag. His assistant is frantically calling his wife, Elizabeth. He never even checked into his hotel. Both of his phones are going straight to voicemail. He has completely vanished. For 19 long, agonizing days, there is absolutely nothing. And then, a break. The police finally get GPS data from his Audi Q7, and it leads them to a sketchy train station parking lot in Orleans. But here's the weird part. He had no business being in Orleans. It wasn't on his itinerary. It made zero sense. When the cops get to the car, it's just bizarre. It's in perfect condition. No damage, no signs of a break-in. His briefcase, his luggage, it's all still sitting right there inside. So clearly, this wasn't a robbery. Which leads to the one obvious question, right? Where on earth is Alan? The forensics team has already swept the inside of the car and found pretty much nothing. So, as a final check, the lead detective, Pierre Martin, watches as a technician hits the button to open the trunk. You hear that distinct, soft click, and the trunk slowly rises. And inside, they see this bulky shape wrapped in a pink bedsheet. Detective Martin gets that awful sinking feeling in his stomach. A technician pulls back the sheet, and just like that, the mystery is over. Curled up inside is the body of Alan Leelu. The autopsy comes back, and it tells them two crucial things. First, he was strangled, probably with something like a belt. And second, and this is a game changer, the scratches on his legs prove he was killed somewhere else and then dragged and lifted into the trunk. This wasn't a random crime, this was a murder and a cover-up. So suddenly, Detective Martin's suspect list is a mile long. You've got his wife, who knew he was cheating on her. You've got business rivals, especially one who was actively trying to steal his contracts. There's his protégé, who was the last person to see him. And of course, there was a whole list of jilted lovers. Right off the bat, all eyes are on his main business competitor, Michel Delarue. I mean, the motive is screamingly obvious, millions of dollars. And Delarue was acting super suspicious, calling up Alan's clients the second he disappeared. But there was one huge problem. His alibi was rock solid. He was on a ski trip hundreds of miles away, and they confirmed it. And just like that, the investigation hits a brick wall. Every lead just dries up. His wife has an alibi. Alexandra, the protégé, is, well, she's tiny. It just seemed impossible that she could overpower a 240-pound man. The case was going nowhere, fast. And then, just when it feels like all hope is lost, the story takes one of the most unbelievable turns I have ever heard. A man walks into the police station, introduces himself as Remy Surin, and says he's a professional psychic. You can just imagine Detective Martin rolling his eyes. But hey, they had absolutely nothing to go on, so Martin listens. And the psychic, Remy, claims he had a vision. He saw two things. One, Alan was in a violent fight with a woman. And two, and this is the important part, he was not killed where the car was found. His body had been moved. Now get this. This is the moment that changes everything. The police had intentionally kept that little detail, the fact that the body was moved, a secret from the public. It was their way to weed out all the fake tips and false confessions. And somehow, this psychic knew it. How was that even possible? This completely blows the case wide open. Detective Martin has to reevaluate everything. He had dismissed the idea of a woman being the killer because of Alan's sheer size. But now, what if he was wrong? What if the psychic was right? The entire investigation suddenly pivots to that one seemingly impossible question. So, with this totally new perspective, Marhan goes back to the drawing board. He dives back into Alan's laptop, but this time he's looking for something different, a hidden part of Alan's life that no one knew about. And wouldn't you know it, buried deep in the computer's history, he finds it, a name they hadn't seen before, a profile for a sex worker named Marie Eve. Was this just another one of Alan's affairs, or was it something more? So Martin has a picture and a name, but the real identity of Marie Eve is still a mystery. As he starts piecing it all together, he realizes this isn't just some random woman. This is the key that unlocks the entire case. So, the big question is, who was Marie Eve? It was the surrogate daughter, Alexandra Nicola. She was hiding in plain sight the entire time. That troubled past they had argued about? Yeah, that was the fact that she had been a sex worker, using the name Marie Eve. The two women were one and the same. Once she was confronted with this, the whole story just came pouring out. During their fight, Alan had said something awful, something unforgivable, suggesting her own daughter might end up like her. And in a moment of pure rage, she just snapped. She grabbed his belt and strangled him. Afterwards, she panicked, called her new boyfriend, Yves Bernard, who literally drove all the way from his ski trip to help. Together, they put the body in the trunk and drove to Orleans to dump the car. In the end, Alexandra Nicola was found guilty of murder and got 15 years in prison. Her accomplice, who she later married, Yves Bernard, got 2 years for helping to conceal the body. As of today, both of them have been released. It is just a shocking end to a truly twisted case. A man murdered not by a business rival or his spurned wife, but by the one person he treated like family. It really leaves you with a chilling thought, doesn't it? How well can you ever truly know the people you think you know best?